Earlier today we did a stream where we checked out this build. And I want to go into the hood a little bit and let you guys see how I built it. So, just stripping a few parts off of here, kind of get down to the frame level. These modules right now. Not even use seal. So, I like to protect my front and rear tracks with one of these blade wings. That's really nice. I like these screeners for front bumpers. I know they don't do melee damage, but if you compare them to by weight and stuff to the other options, the Terrible Bar is 161 and 324. These are 141 and 216. So when you sort by durability, you'll see that these are some of the strongest parts in the game. And light too, 139, 192, 141, 216. So these are also very good off-road bumpers. But the screeners, I think they're cool looking. Alright, so what do we want to do here? So we're going to build a car with a Retcher and a Porcupine. So the problem with the Growl and some of these narrow cabins is you can't really get the 4x4 or 4x8 frames to mount under the front and still have enough room. And I don't like to use frames that are super small and weak because you tend to get stripped and things explode, and frames are such low power score that they're kind of a really cool, strong way to make a build strong. But the 42 durability there is, you know, essentially 10 times that with the, or 9 times that with the 90% bullet pass through. And but 42, that's pretty good, and these have 56 durability, whereas the 2x6s only have 21. So, you know, pretty nice to use these stronger pieces, but you lose the space under the cab. When I do the build with the Beholder, you can just move this up one, and you can easily connect the tracks directly to the frames directly to the cabin, and leave a huge space underneath, right? And then rather than using these smaller lightweight frames, you can use the 6x4, which are really nice and strong. That's what I was using under the cab in the last build, the reason why I didn't have them there. And you can kind of keep your frame weight down really low, but have really nice strong frames all the way around. Now I would even probably do a breakaway frame on the front, like another 4x4. Just give yourself a little bit more stuff for people to shoot at that isn't important to your build. So now this is becoming a Beholder build. But essentially you get my point. If you wanted to put, you know, an Apollo under there, say, you can just stick it right underneath your build, no problem. And it's, you know, you can always hang down one square under the frame, so that's not a problem. And, you know, there's big old side saddle bags or whatever you have. It's just that tight. On the side, you can throw your ammo boxes there, or you can decide, you know what, I want my ammo boxes in the rear. You could even, you know, there's a lot of different places that you can put them, but we don't have that luxury with the Growl, so we've got to come up with another way to kind of make it work. And I think that based on sorting the frames you know, I think that this is kind of my best option, at least for connecting the front. I maybe could be persuaded that connecting the rear another way. Let's see. Let me do this. Try to make a little room under the cabin. You know, let's see if that's a little bit better. And this build would also work well with a blight. See, a blight is the same size as a growl, more or less. The weld points are a little different. So that gives us a little bit more under the frame to work with, and we have to kind of sneak the whole build a little closer together. So if we want, kind of got to debate, do you want this protective point here on the frame that you're protecting or on the piece that's going to get broken away? It kind of gives you two layers of protection. If this bumper gets toast and this frame gets killed, then you still have this piece of metal protecting, but then sometimes that can make the tracks not go back far enough. We'll just see. We're gonna have to see how it works once it comes together. So that means I gotta put this one up here and make it go. Now, in the build that we just were rocking in the last stream, there was one more frame under there, but I think it's okay. And we didn't have these additional front frames. So these are 108 kilograms each, and so can debate on whether or not we want to make the build longer, but I think shorter better for this growl build. We're going to try to make it as light as we can, and so we're going to just go ahead and make, and that means if we lose this screener and we lose that bumper, then we only have, that's, you know, you lose this whole wheel. But the good thing is it's really just one wheel, so it should be pretty good. Now, as far as power goes, we've got to use the power. Once we get the frame up and we're feeling comfortable with that, we've got to get our power all used up before we armor it up. So let's go ahead and throw our Retcher on here. And I just mount it right on the cab because then you don't have to spend PS on a gun mount or some other really strong piece of structure to put it on. Honestly, I really like to use gun mounts or right on the cab or on a frame, because I don't want the guns to get shot off by hooking it to a small flimsy piece of thing. Even some of the buggy frames and stuff are just not as strong as the weapons will be themselves. So we are going to look at this. We got that there. So that leaves us 2 energy, assuming we don't run a generator, which is, I think, what you do in this. The generator is going to add PS quite a bit. So we've got 2 energy. You know, I think the thing's going to make it. We were really missing our second seal earlier, and we kind of switched that out for a radar. So let's rebuild it as it was, and then try it again. Maybe we managed to shave a little bit of weight off of this by removing that 6x frame. So that isn't. This piece I'm just going to put down here for now. It can kind of tuck in underneath the car. I love those seals being able to do that. This chunky ammo pack has got to have somewhere to go, so we're going to put that there, and at least we were able to get that into the cab by moving that get rid out of the frame. And let's see here. We're going to need the radar, and in this case I am going to put the Doppler back on because I do like it. The other thing is that it's got a lot of hit points, a very lot, and if you mount it under the cab like that in the back, I mean, you've got a 400 hit point piece of armor in front of your ammo box, so you're not going to get popped there. And then we definitely want to put a radio in here, and I don't really want this mounted up this radiator mounted on the Porcupine, so I'm going to mount it over there. We can also mount it to the Porcupine as well if we want to spare a piece of let's think here. We could actually move this whole thing up, this whole frame up a spot. Oh no, because there's no mount point. But what we could do is we could potentially put a buggy floor in there, a small buggy floor. Let's see if that'll work. Oh yeah, that's nice. It just gives you an extra little piece of something that's hanging on to the frame and hanging on to the seal. And, you know, since this is a fused seal, it's going to be fine. Just the one. Alright, and again, you could add a generator to this and get that second seal if you wanted to, but it's just going to up your PS quite a bit. So this is 7196, and we need to put an engine on here. Let's put that hot red on there. We don't have any energy left for an engine, but a hot red will help us get a little bit more oomph. Spin around so it looks nice. See, that's just one more piece of armor. That's another 145 durability armor, as much as a screener right on top. Now, let's find some of our favorite armor people. Let's put the radio on there before we forget. And the radar. Well, actually, you don't need a radio with the Doppler, so never mind. Let's put the... Oh, you know what? I should check my comments. Huh. Stand by. Alright. Great. Okay, I'm on the chat now. Pardon me for not being on there sooner. So, some of my favorite arbor parts that we want to pull in. These buggy bumpers, you get them for high levels of lunatic, and they're super cool. They're really strong, and they're going to protect against the melee damage. And I think that, let's see here. I believe that, yeah, they have one spot on the bottom available. I am going to put another bumper down here. Just I want someone to come and just take off my entire frame. That. Okay, so the spikes are sticking out. It doesn't like that with my full bars. So let's try just a little catch. Yeah, that's, see, 53 durability, 72 power score. That's just a nice balance. So, alright. So what are my other favorite pieces of armor? Well, going to power score is a good way to sort. This power slide is really nice. It is a lunatic armor. It's got a 25% pass-through, so it has even more than the 68 points. It only weighs 135 kilograms, so that is one of my go-to parts. I like to run it kind of this way. It's not going to fit right now, so we're going to have to figure that out. Alright, so we can flip this over. No, it's not going to be happy there. Pull these off. Pull that off. Let's see how it does there. So it's mounted on that, and you've got to get it mounted on the sides too. So I'd like to have it on something kind of strong. I'm going to use insert that type. I'm going to use a small buggy floor just as a temporary until I decide exactly what I want. But I want to have the, it's not mounting there. Move it forward more. I think I'm going to it's going to impinge on it. So what we're going to do is, actually, you know what? I'm going to get just one of these. Yeah, one button floor's going to work. There we go. So that's going to, there we go. Now it's attached. So you can see this mount point here. It's attached to the inside, and it's attached to the, oh, it's not attached to the cab there. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to raise this up one level. Now it's attached there. It's attached there. I'm gonna try another strategy. I just want to make sure that this thing is not going to go anywhere. There. So it's attached to the engine here. It's attached to the buggy floor, which is like 80 hit points. It's protected by another 80 hit point, and then we'll throw some bull bars on there. And it's okay if they wing out, honestly, because you're going to have more protection for your rear wheels. And okay, so those are a couple of my favorite parts. Now we're 7,500. Not using too much extraneous stuff here. Let's sort by power score again. Alright, so we've got a couple screeners. Now these don't add to the damage of or to the hit point pool of your car. But these Torino Bonnets do, and those are pretty nice parts. They come from Engineer Faction, pretty easy to use. We could take a look at those. One idea of using them would be here. Now, you're going to end up shooting over them, which is a little bit of a challenge. Not sure I love the look of them. Now I have these minivan panels that are 64 durability at 135 kilograms. Those are really nice. And then these APC roof parts, which are 120, so they're almost twice as strong. But look at, they're almost 400 pounds. So I'm gonna go with the lighter stuff because I know from armoring this up before that you're just gonna run out of space basically to armor it pretty quick. It does not have a lot of tonnage available. So let's see, what else do we have? Some of our favorite parts. Okay, so these buggy rears are pretty nice. I'm going to find the spot where they're going to stick to the car. Now I want to make sure that we are giving some redundancy in the connections, right? So I'm just kind of taking a look at where it's going to connect. Now this is not connecting to the buggy itself. One thing we can do is try it flipped and see. If that doesn't work, you might have to go down one in order to get connected there. So you can kind of decide, okay, then I'm gonna do that, and you can see where it's connected to the side now as well. So now we can decide, hey, you know what, let's put another frame there, another rear buggy rear, whatever you call it, and I'm going to make a little cove with these because I don't want people shooting my gun off. So let's see here. So we're about 8,000. Okay, we're going to make this a safe spot, and we're going to call this Growl Retcher Porcupine. Alright. So let's compare. We haven't finished it, obviously, but let's compare it here. This is 690 armor, 8,038 power score, and then the other growl we were working at is 8,100. This is 888 hit points. So let's keep armor in this one we're working on up, and see if we can get over 888 without running out of tonnage. So what we're trying to do here is using some of the lighter parts. That's why I'm looking by power score, because some of these parts are heavier. Notice, so for example, APC part, this part is 292 kilograms for 98 points of armor. This is 204 kilograms for 80 points. But so it's 100 kilograms lighter, essentially, right? So looking for some parts that we can use that are going to be a little bit lighter, a little bit better. Some of these fire starter parts are pretty nice. I'll try to make sure that we're getting some protection on our Retcher and some connections to the cab. So it's not connecting to the cab there, and that's because there's a little gap. So we could decide, is that a good enough connection, or we can do something like this that's down to the frame. It's not going to be the best looking, but right now we're just trying to see if we can get a little bit more armor on this thing. So let's just kind of see what we can make happen to start. Not really shooting behind us that much. It might be nice to have a little more protection. Okay, 921. Power score is 8250. Let's see what else we have here that's nice. Okay, this. This pole position is a nice piece. It gives you a little bit of melee resistance. Its durability and mass are almost equal. So it's almost 90 durability. So that's pretty strong. And let's see. That takes away from spending money on the hit point pool or spending weight on the hit point pool, but it's going to give you that those front pieces a little more survivability. And then I think we need to come up with. See, now we went over tonnage. Okay, so 920. So this is a little bit higher PS right now as it sits, and it is a little bit more armor, but thus my. That's not the right one. This one. Okay, and then we gotta. Anytime you do a build, you gotta at least just throw some paint on it. Just at least make it all one color. I'm not really that worried about all that. So, 8296 versus 8198. The builds are a little bit different, but 888 points versus 8296 and 894 points. They're really darn similar. Let's go ahead and just test drive this. Okay. But see, it just feels sluggish. Now, another thing we can do is we can take this build and we can just put a blight in it. Everything's better with blight. Power score is going to be high. But 9300. You test drive. A lot more acceleration. I have now the blight perk, which is going to be nice. You can see it charging over there. So stand by. I'll show you what that does. Leviathan. Okay. Okay, Leviathan. So, blight perk and green fire. You gotta love the green fire. You just sit here and spam the green fire on them. And that's why. So, and I just think you're gonna get more speed, more acceleration out of a blight. You could also armor it up a little bit more. You can check it out. You could put a cheetah in here and add even more tonnage without adding tracks. So you're just gonna do better. Only 993 armor here. It's not very much durability for a thing like that. But now that we have this, we could easily to test it. Let's just throw some other armor pieces on there. Happy little armor. Yeah, these fire starter parts are pretty nice. I don't really like the look of them that much, but as far as the weight ratio for a lighter build, a blight is still a pretty light cabin. See, now we're got 1200, 1200 durability. That's gonna be a lot better. You can swap out those really light Those really light van sides for the fire starters for these little heavier Dawn's Children parts, and you can kind of finish your armor across the front. You know, let's see here. Find some. Strengthening bending missiles. These are fun. You could do something kind of cheeky like that. And see, now we have 1278 on the same build. You're going to be able to tank another whole shot. You've got a much better. You've got a cabin perk. You've got better acceleration. So another thing you could do with this very easily would be to put a wider cabin on there. You'd rebuild the frames for that version, but I digress. Anyway, thanks for playing some Crossout with me, and I'm gonna go take this one for a little battle just to kind of see. I'm not sure that I like the growl for this weapon combo based on what's going on. Alright, so let's see how this does. See, and I didn't put any paint on it, but I'm going to, because I just said that you should put paint on it. Alright, now we'll battle, and we'll see if we can get a few frags. I'm not really super proud of how this looks with those parts the way they are. Really just going for the overall armor is more of a test, but we will we'll make prettier builds another time. So where are we at? 9,500 PS, 1278. Pretty competitive here. It looks like they've got some lower PSs in the match, so not hating that. Oh, Frank and Edward, we would love to help you, wouldn't we? But we don't want to get into that fire. Why don't they just run straight through? Oh, that's... Oh, yep. I saw them just in time to get lanced. Was not expecting that. At least they got a porcupine in the face. Hopefully they died too.
We almost blew it. Come on.
Okay, well that was a run. Let's try this one more time. We can't end our build. Although, that's funny, we got second place. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. I did hit him with that porcupine, so they didn't get nothing. They didn't get that kill for free. All right, let's see if we could be a little better about not getting lanced right in the very beginning of the game.
Engines warmed up. That's right, man.
I like this map. Okay, Olivia. Shooter. Ooh, that's nice. I like when we fire. Okay, so we're seeing some people. We got up here, we were using our radar. That is letting the bots know. See, now that's what the Retchers. As soon as you start shooting those up there like that, everyone knows where you. Everyone knows that there's a Retcher person there, and they are not gonna want to come and, or they're gonna want to come and play with you. So I think the best thing to do is to kind of get over here, and that might be gone a little too far here. But let's see if we can't sneak in a barrel. Ooh, server admin's with us. Okay, oh, there we go. Throw a couple barrels down there. And let's use our... Oh! Hi, Daniel! Let's use our blight power. Maybe some green fire. I'm running into somebody. See, now I'm really missing my extra sea level. I just think maybe their radar. I'm sorry, Spiritor.
Let's see him try this barefoot.
Oh, look at you. Nope, I'm not gonna let you shoot me. Okay. Ooh, did we get everybody so fast? Wow, that was great. See, now that'll work for me.
Now that's what I like. Well done.
Oh, hey, we got our new level of lunatics. That's sweet. What a good way to end a video. Alright, so stats. Yeah, we didn't do that great, but we had some pretty great teammates there. And we got 530. But the cool thing is, we got some of our challenges done, and we got that level for the lunatics, which gives us this time. Okay, some more 1x6 frames. That's our hover stuff. Always can use those. Yeah, these are what's really the good part. The 6x4 lightweight frames. That'll give you a total of 6 6x4 lightweight frames and 2 8x4 lightweight frames. That's gonna be great. And the thing I'm grinding lunatics for right now is a couple little things here. I want in the last one. I want 2 more 8x4 frames, lightweight, another frontal protection system, 1 more of these great buggy bumpers, and 2 more 8x1 lightweight frames. Plus the portrait, you know, I don't know, that'll be okay. But that's going to be worth it. I might probably use some engineer flags on that whole thing. So anyway, thanks a lot, and we'll catch you on the next stream. Got to stop this